There's a saying that I remember hearing, and this phrase, it completely reframed on how I look at history. It was, history is written by the winners. Now, history written by the winners, I wouldn't necessarily say winners, but the theme is perception. History is written based off of one perception that can misunderstand or mislead other contexts, other cultures. Just because something is in a history book doesn't mean it is all-out proof. From over here, I can go really deeper in that, but I'm gonna leave that right there. But that's not the message I wanted to get to. The message I wanted to get to is a theme of power. What is power? Well, that depends on who you ask. For a lot of people, power is dominance. Power is control. Power is I'm on top. There's a such thing called hard power and soft power. The hard power is that I wear the crown, I'm on top, do what I say. And a lot of people see power as that. See power as a conquest. Now, there are different perspectives of power. There is power, like I said, there are also such thing as soft power, which despite its name is not weak. Soft power is the ability to, oftentimes it's the soft power that controls the hard power, who really pulls the strings. Real power always needs a figurehead. Remember that. It's not oftentimes the person who is placed in front of over here, the person who is placed on TV or in front of the camera, that oftentimes isn't the real person making the decisions. So, and talking about soft power goes for the realm of the unseen. The person who pulls the string, the person who influence is felt by them doing nothing. There are also, those just hard power and true power are two conceptualization of power. True power, and this is over here, let me say this like this. From my perspective, true power lies in creation. What can you make? What can you build? What can you over here, what can you do rather than what can you take? There is more power in creation than death. I'm going to say that one more time. There is more power in creation than death. Over here, easy still. But there's no power in that. You practically admitting that. Now, how shall I word this? Over here, let me say it like this. True power lies in the formation and creation, but also have its counterpart. Destruction is also a version of power too. They both coexist with one another. Neither is over here better or worse. Neither is above or other. They both work in tandem. In order for something new to be created, something needs to be destroyed. In order for destruction to take place, something has to be created. That also go back to that lesson of hard and soft power. They work in tandem, the seen and the unseen. Now, with all that being said, the influence power has in everybody's daily life is both seen and unseen. From stuff you feel like you have to do to stuff you want over here, to stuff you want to do. A lot of people feel like they don't have power over their lives, so they go to exert power in external. Let me say it like this: a lot of people feel like they don't have power internally, so they try to overexert it externally as a overcompensation. It shows a lack of it shows a lack of imbalance. Rather than having power, full power, it comes from the external first, and then it shapes the external. That'll be over here, the soft power shapes the hard power. The over here creation shapes destruction. Again, this is not one is better than the other, both go in tandem. But it's like the beginning and the end. It's like the beginning and the end. Without the beginning, there was no end, and vice versa. Think of, I'm hearing, for those who are religious, think of Genesis and Revelations. What's the point? Power comes in many different shapes and forms, but however, if you feel like you have a lack of power, that is simply an illusion. You have power over yourself and over your own life that no one can take away from you. No one can take your personal power. However, you can be quick to give away your personal power. It is very important to know that distinction. No one can take your personal power, but you can't be quick to give it away. And this comes in many different over here shapes and forms. Whether it comes with people using up your time, money, and resources, how much of your effort goes towards you, what you want to do, what you want to build, what you want to change, how much of your effort goes towards aspects of yourself or goes towards aspects outside of yourself. I gotta over here help this person. I gotta do this for work. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. How much of your effort is maintaining your own personal power, and how much of your effort is giving it away? There's supposed to be a balance of an equal give and take, reciprocation, where over here in healthy relationships and healthy dynamics, they don't drain you of your personal power. Y'all coexist with one another. And over here, it's saying of over here, they're saying two halves make a whole, but each half is whole in itself, and it comes together to build more. When those two halves are whole in itself, they have their own power. They stand in their own power, but they come together to build more. This is a very interesting dynamic and message I was given to deliver. And that's to say over here, watch the hidden influence of power dynamics in your life, of where you are over giving externally and undermining internally. In whatever way power comes to you or your understanding, is it balanced? Do it over here leave you centered and whole in yourself at the end of the day?